What's good, everyone? It's your boy Nati with another video for the channel. Welcome back to DMB Sports Zone. I know it's been a minute, but today I have none other than special guest Manny Chokuba. I'm probably butchering the last name, but thank you so much, bro, for joining the channel. And I usually like to start off by asking the guest to introduce himself to the good people out there probably watching.
Oh man, hey, appreciate you having me on the show, man. I'm a big fan of your work, man. I know we connected a while back, and I mean it's been a long time coming to,
Yeah.
come together and connect. I know our time schedule is always conflict with family and school and work and things of that nature. But yeah, man, a little bit about myself: host of the Back Row Redskins show, host of Talking Sports with Manny, where you can get some NBA fantasy, and NFL news and things of that nature. So man, I love sports. It's what I do. So yeah, man, let's get it.
All right. With that being said, let's start. First and foremost, let's start some things off light with the stream and well, not light in terms of the matter, but light in terms of the content, and that is the Washington Nationals not playing tonight because of COVID, pretty much a COVID outbreak in the locker room, on the team. And I was just wondering, what are your thoughts on the Nationals and them not playing tonight on opening day of all days, and also just the general precautions that teams around the MLB and really like around sports in general are taking with COVID.
I mean, with COVID, man, COVID has just been something that's just hurt everybody. I mean, it's like having delayed sports is better than not having any sports. So I remember last year when we got that news, Rudy Gobert, touching the mic, joking around and doing all this stuff, and then the league was shut down. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like at that time, my Lakers were trying to get that title. You know what I'm saying? It's like we
Mhm.
literally started the season 3 times in a row. So it's like you got to take precautions. Now you kind of see that this thing is going to happen. It's going to continue to happen regardless. So it's like you got to do what's best for the players and as well as the team. I loved what the NFL did last year by letting people opt out if they didn't want to play. I think baseball probably did some of that as well.
Mhm.
So with them not playing, I am in total agreement with it. It's just what's best for the players and for the season to be able to finish. So you got to do what you got to do. If you got people that are, that people that have COVID, then you gotta put a pause on things,
Yeah.
get things back on track, and then you try to play the game.
Yeah, man, I definitely agree. I mean, it sucks that it happened on opening day again
Yeah.
of all days.
Mhm.
This is supposed to be the start of a new year in baseball, but I mean, we're still in the COVID world, right? Hopefully, at least in terms of baseball, the players get their vaccine shortly, and we wouldn't have to worry about all these cases and stuff. But definitely agree with your points there, and it sucks, but hopefully, they play soon. The outbreak seems like it keeps increasing within the clubhouse, so we'll
Right.
see when they start playing. But
And my question for you, like,
yeah,
even with the vaccine, are people still gonna be able to, like, I mean, I don't think anything changes with the vaccine.
I mean, in terms of like ordinary life, yes,
Hmm.
I agree with you because people are still gonna have to wear masks and all that.
Right.
But in terms of baseball and the fact that there's always the concern about COVID cases, positive cases and stuff, I think those concerns would very much call a little bit because of the fact that if you have a vaccine, right, you're not gonna get sick. You might pass it on to other people who don't have the
Right.
vaccine, but if you have
Right.
enough players on MLB teams that get it,
Right.
NBA teams that get it, then I think you wouldn't have to worry so
Right.
much.
Look, I'm not gonna lie, man. My job, like, I work with home health healthcare
Mhm.
company, and we had the vaccine. We were like one of the first people to have it available. And I'm not gonna lie, I didn't go. The first batch, I didn't go. I said, man, I don't know what this is.
Yeah.
And I just kind of wanted to kind of do like a wait and see approach.
Mhm.
And then the second opportunity came, I missed that. Now I'm like, man, I wish I would have taken one of those opportunities. Now I actually want to take it. Now I have to wait for the next batch of people to take it. So it's kind of like,
Yeah.
it's like people are taking it, and
Mhm.
there's some mild side effects and things of that nature. But at the same time, it's like it's better to have it than not to have it. So that next opportunity, I'm gonna take it, and see what see where it goes, see how it impacts me, my family, and people that are surrounding. Because eventually, we all will have to be vaccinated anyway.
Yeah.
So it's better to get
Yeah.
it early than later. But I'm not gonna lie, I was one of those people who was watching.
Yeah.
I was watching. I wanted to kind of see what was going to happen. What are the side effects, things of that nature. But everybody that I know that have taken it, nothing has happened out the normal. I hear a little bit of oh, my arm was sore, or this was sore,
Same
that
with
was
flu
sore.
shot.
But yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But you know what though? I've never been a fan of the flu shot, man. I've just never. If I have to take it, I'll take it. But I just try to build up my immune system and
Hmm.
do things I need to do to not get the flu. But if I have to take the shot, I will. If I have an option, I'm not taking the shot. That's just me. That's
That's
just me.
fair. That's fair. Um, yeah. I mean that's fair, especially like with the wait and see approach.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if I had the option of taking it early, I'd probably have taken a wait and see approach as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's tough.
Right.
I think the players are also pretty much dealing with the same sort of dilemma, right? Like if they
Mm-hmm.
want to take it or not. I don't
Right.
think every single person has to take it because you only need herd immunity.
Mm-hmm.
So you just need a certain amount of people who take it. So then people who don't are pretty much protected.
Right.
So we'll see, man. I hopefully, here at school they're offering it in late May actually. So
Okay.
there's still some time, but definitely gonna try to take it at least the first dose here in Chicago and then the second dose back home in DMV. But
Okay.
um
That's what's up, man. That's
yeah,
what's up. Yeah, definitely take advantage of that. I'm telling you,
yeah,
it's gonna be a long line. It's gonna
for
be a
sure.
waiting list.
Yeah, yeah.
It's gonna be like those
So
movies, man. You haven't been vaccinated, you're not gonna have that X on your hand. You can't get
yeah,
into nowhere. And I,
yeah.
I heard somebody saying that eventually you won't be able to travel if you're not vaccinated. And I mean, it's
Depends on where you're
where you
traveling. Like if we're talking
go.
about international travel, maybe, but I don't think we're ever gonna reach a point. I know there's people scared about this, but we're ever gonna reach a point where to travel between the states and stuff, you need the vaccine. I
Okay,
just don't believe that.
gotcha. Makes sense. I mean, because you can just drive, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You can drive to anywhere but Alaska and Hawaii. So, yeah, makes sense.
Okay, so now to our beloved Washington football team. And before getting into the scheduling news that broke earlier this week, I do want to first, again, starting off the stream light, what are your thoughts on our boy Chase Young chopping it up with good old Steve Harvey over the weekend on Family Feud? Do you believe this is just the beginning of his superstardom? Like, where do you see things going from here, both on and off the field for Chase?
Man, I'm happy for him. I actually missed that. But man, Chase Young is just a personality. You see that the NFL is trying to push him into stardom. They're trying to make him the face of the NFL. He's one of those guys that's marketable, and you're going to
Yeah.
see him getting more commercials. You're going to see him getting more opportunities. And if there's anything that needs to be said, like video for awareness and things of that nature, it's going to be Chase Young and some
Saw that
other
last
guys.
summer. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, doing stuff like that because he's just that kind of guy. He's a good guy both on the field and off the field. And those are the kinds of people that the NFL is looking for. They're looking for ambassadors. They're looking for people that are going to be able to take this league from one level to the next. And Chase Young fits that mold. So I'm excited for him. I even seen him working out with Arnold Schwarzenegger. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just, he's just a likable guy. How can you not like that guy? Walks
Mhm.
around yelling, Heineke, Heineke, he's just that kind of guy. I mean, just the personality, So I love it, man. The best is yet to
Yeah.
come for that kid.
Believe the same. In terms of on the field, do you think he's gonna? I mean, last year you guys can check the tape, check the receipts on the streams, but I was one of those people who thought that Montez Sweat was gonna have more sacks than Chase Young over the course of the 2020 season. That obviously came to fruition, but this upcoming season, I think Chase Young is gonna absolutely break out and just rack up the sacks. What are your thoughts on him, at least on the field, becoming a superstar?
I remember I did a roundtable episode on the Back Row Redskins show, and a lot of us said Montez Sweat. The reason I said Montez Sweat because I knew that Chase Young opened it up for Montez Sweat. I felt that Chase Young would be so good that he'll be double teamed. And honestly, I didn't think that. I mean, I had him for under 10 sacks, like around 9, but I didn't think that 6.5 was going to get, or was it 7.5 that he
7.5, yeah.
got? Yeah. I didn't think that 7.5 was going to get it done for Rookie of the Year, but you see the impact. You see the fumbles. You see the tackles for losses and things of that nature. So, yeah, this next season, he's going to be definitely double-digit sack leader, only for the simple fact that the defensive line gets better when you add in the big Matt Ioannidis back. So you're going to have a guy that goes through the defensive line, goes through those centers and tackles and guards, and then you're gonna roll out and fall into Chase Young's laps. Okay, so
Yeah.
he's gonna get a lot of freebie sacks, but he's also gonna create a lot of havoc as well. Like literally, when Matt Ioannidis comes back, there's never gonna be a time where you're single blocking somebody. Like who do you double team? I mean, they're just loaded, and I think he blows up. Maybe 14, 15 sack type season.
Mm. That would be. Oh my gosh. That's definitely superstardom here in DC. Do want to shout out the people in the chat: Patrick West, Corey from On the Warpath, Washington's Roundtable Football as well. Thank you guys for joining. And yeah, man, Chase Young. I think the sky's the limit for him. Really. I thought I can't believe Brandon Sheriff, right, being an All Pro last year. I thought Chase Young was actually going to be our next All Pro guy. I thought that was going to be the case, but obviously Brandon Sheriff, All Pro last year, first time since I think 1996. But yeah, Chase Young, man, and I believe in short order he's going to be one of, if not the best defensive ends in the entire league, and hopefully we start to see signs of that this year. But moving on from Chase Young, I do want to get your thoughts on, with the free agency recap. What are your thoughts on the free agency moves as a whole that Washington has made up until now? Re-signing Brandon Sheriff, Ryan Fitzpatrick, being a signee as well, William Jackson III, Curtis Samuel, so on and so forth. And I believe a kick returner as well today. What are your thoughts on their moves, the moves of the team as a whole?
If you look at the move, kind of like what Ron Rivera said, was he's going to be very calculated. He's going to make the right moves, and he's going to be smart with his spending. So when we lost Darby, everybody was crying, "Oh, we lost Darby. We lost Darby." Darby was the best corner on the team last year, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But what's going to happen now is replacing him with William Jackson III. He's an absolute dog. He is a guy that's going to hit you in the mouth. He's going to cover, and he's going to allow Kendall Fuller to be the number 2 guy, which is a major upgrade. Then you look at the quarterback position, you finally have a quarterback who's going to be able to pass the ball and move the ball down the field. Then Scott Turner can actually open up the playbook to, do some more damage for this team. So it's just a win-win-win. Any way that you look at it,
Yep.
Fitzpatrick is going to help. Yes, he has those interceptions. It's kind of scary and crazy, but at the same time, it's just a win-win. Then you want to talk about Curtis Samuel. You get him for, was it like 11.5?
Yeah, but I think his
roughly
cap hit this year is 5 million, if not, I think it's like 5 or 6 million, which is pretty good.
Yeah. So, either way you look at it, people say he's a second-tier wide receiver. That's fine. He's going to give you that top-tier production. He's going to give you close to 1,000 yards, about 5 to 6, 7 touchdowns. So, to me, that's top-tier production, regardless if you are second-tier. People want to compare Galladay and Curtis Samuel and try to say, "Oh, we got the worst guy." Well, we got the most efficient guy, first of all, money-wise and production. We already have an alpha dog in Terry McLaurin. So, it's okay, because Terry's going to get paid in a year. Matter of fact, we need to extend him right now. This is the time to extend Terry. We see Tyler Lockett just got paid $17 million a year. So we know that as we wait, the longer we wait, you're going to see where Terry's making 22, 23, maybe 24 million a year when it's time to get paid. And I think he's one of the top wide receivers in the league. And when you add in a guy like Curtis Samuel with Terry, Curtis can do it all. He is just not a slot wide receiver. I keep arguing this, and I'm going to stand on the hill alone. He is more than a slot wide receiver. So I'm excited to see what he does with Terry and Fitzmagic. And then you look at the other smaller moves. You got to get the depth pieces. We signed the corner, depth piece. The 7th rounder. I think he came in the league when he was like 25 or 26. He's a older rookie, younger guy when he came in. But pieces like that are pieces that you're going to come in, compete in camp. It's not a guarantee that those guys make the team anyways. And even the kick returner that we signed today, all that tells me is that Steve Sims is as good as gone. He's as good as gone.
Yeah.
You add Adam Humphries, excellent true slot wide receiver. When you're talking about slot wide receivers, That's a true slot right there. So all the moves that he's made has been calculated. So I mean, I'm enjoying it, man. You can't beat it.
Yeah. And usually when we're the winners of the off season, we just like spend huge amounts of money, right? So it's
Mhm.
crazy to be crowned, at least early on, the winners of the free agency period, while making very good, cost effective like deals like we did. So I agree with all your points, man. I think probably among those guys that we brought here to DC, I think the William Jackson the third move is arguably the best. I just think you're replacing Darby, but you're replacing him with better production, really, right? Like
Top tier talent,
2017,
man.
yeah, 2017, he was arguably the best lockdown cornerback in the league. Like that's how special he was. Obviously, he hasn't sustained that production in the last couple of years, but I think William Jackson the third, man, Kendall Fuller, Jimmy Moreland, Landon Collins when he's back, hopefully, being confined to that box safety type of role.
Hey,
Cam
Landon is
Curl,
huge. Landon is going to be huge. See, everybody's saying that, Cam Carl. Yeah, Cam
yeah,
Carl, rightfully so, it's his job. It's Cam Carl's job. But at the same time, you look at what Landon brings to the table. He's not sorry. He's not sorry. I mean, he had a slow start before he got hurt. Started playing better than got hurt, and people forget who Landon Collins is. This is a former All-Pro. Don't get it twisted,
yeah,
man.
yeah.
I almost said kid. He's not a kid anymore. The guy can play. The guy can play. So I just think that he only adds. He's going to bring the same kind of impact that Matt Ioannidis brings. I mean, think about it. Our safety rotation is going to be crazy, and I still think we need to add a free safety, a true free safety to this group. And I mean, it'll be nice for once to have 4 or 5 good safeties on the team. I can't remember the last
Yeah.
time 4 or 5 good safeties on the team. Might have been in the years when we had Sam Shade and Ifeanyi Ohalate and all these different guys. So yeah, we haven't had safeties here that can play.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's only a bonus. It's just only a plus.
Yeah. And going back to your Curtis Samuel and Kenny Galladay take, I mean, you also have to factor in that like Galladay's always injured, right? Like
Yep.
every single year, he always is in
Yep.
for like a couple games missed because of injury. So cost effective, right? Curtis Samuel move, more efficient with his
Mhm.
catches, and then also less injury prone. So I think
Hey,
we won out
hey,
there.
Galladay be like this. I think I hurt my back. Spinal.
Yeah, yeah,
My
and he
hip,
misses some games.
my toe. He's fragile, man.
Everything.
He's fragile. He's a good player,
Everything.
but it's kind of like he stays hurt, man.
Yeah.
And that was why I took him off of my list. There was a time I wanted Galladay on the squad, and after that hip injury, man, he was on my fantasy team. I have so many Galladay shares in fantasy and dynasty, and
Sam.
this guy just kept missing games. Oh, he's not ready. Oh, he's not ready. What do you mean he's not ready? Then he ain't ready to be on the football team. I tell you that.
Yeah.
You better not pay for a guy that's questionable. Yeah, you can play, but I mean, we've had a rehab home here in DC for the longest, man. It goes back to Junior Galat and
Oh,
Reuben Foster. I mean, Bryce Love. This is not a rehab home. Alex Smith. I mean, come on, man. Can we get some healthy players for once? Darius
yeah.
Geis up and down. I mean, we lead the league in IRs. We
Yeah.
literally do. So I'm not for bringing in players that are injury prone or players that just can't stay healthy or that have issues already. Nah, miss me with that. Miss me with that, man. It's about getting some healthy players, getting some young players going younger. So I like the way that they're building. They're getting guys that are on their way to stardom. And that's what Ron Rivera has said. He says, look, I want to get a guy that has potential and that has potential to grow into that stardom role. Look at the guys that he's brought in: Logan Thomas, McKissick, KPL, or Darby. He saw these things. He saw these guys, and he saw the potential. And now it's paying off. It's paying off. We don't have to go get a top tier tight end anymore. We don't have to go get a third down back because he's followed that process and found people on their way up. So as long as he continues to do that, both in the draft and free agency, I mean, we are set up nicely. We're set up nicely for a long time.
Yeah. Yeah, man. And then lastly, I wanted to get to your Tyler Lockett point as well. What's scaring me? I know you're super big into fantasy football, and I relied on a lot of your advice over the course of the season. But Tyler Lockett, I mean, sure, yes, he had another 1,000-yard season, but he's super inconsistent. Like he's gonna give you one game where he just goes off for 200 plus yards, 3 touchdowns, and then for a good 5 or 6 game stretch, gives you nothing more than like 45, 50 yards, right?
I got a
So like
question for
I'm
you though.
extremely worried about
I got,
Terry and how
I
much
got,
money he's going to command.
I got a question for you. So is it Tyler Lockett or is it Pete Carroll? Because if you look at Russell Wilson and you look through
Mhm.
history, if you play fantasy football and if you've had Russell Wilson in previous years, you'll see that he either starts off hot or he ends off hot.
Yeah.
He's not going to give you 16 games of let Russ cook. Like he's
Yep.
doing this. Like Russ has been annoying. You got to catch him at the right time. It's either he comes in very, very hot and he's tearing it up, which he rarely does. But at the end of the year, he carries that team, wills that team to playoffs and championships. So for me, when I have players, I like to look at the situations. Who are those guys that can carry you to that playoff? And while they're doing that, it produces fantasy numbers. So
Yep.
I mean, look at that as well.
Yep. Um, yeah, I mean, I tell my friends that all the time, like who draft Russell Wilson every single year, expecting different. I mean, it's the same thing, right? Like he's gonna give you some games where he just goes off, but then towards the end of the season, sure he's gonna find ways to win, but his stats aren't gonna be gaudy. So like that's that's gonna hurt you in fantasy. But yeah, Fitz. I mean, you talked about it a little bit earlier. I am kind of worried that we're gonna get some Fitz tragic, but I'm also a little confident after looking at his history of the last couple of years. Having the 5th highest QBR rating last year, and also factoring in that you only have to go back to like 2016, I believe, or 2015 with the Jets, where he won 10 games. He was a 10-6 starter for the Jets, and we
Right.
have a better defense, better supporting cast. So, do you think we're
That's
gonna see
that's
more?
the
Yeah.
defense. The defense is what's going to help Fitz. Like if you have this defense, right, that means that Fitz does not have to carry the team, or we're not going to be losing. You know what I'm saying? Coming from behind, because the defense is limiting points, and then they're creating turnovers, giving him short field. So when I see all that, that never scared me with Fitz. What I would say is, like, if Fitz just decides to just be Fitz tragic and just throws interceptions for no reason, but for the most part, you ask yourself, when was the last time he had a defense this good? He had one almost as good with Miami
Bills
last year.
or Miami? Yeah.
Yeah, Bills. But you'll see that had he been the starting quarterback the entire year, they would have made the playoffs. They would have probably won 11 games. I mean, he put out a better product than Tua Tagovailoa on the field. So I mean, I'm taking Fitz magic all day with a good defense and more weapons. That's why I continue to stress: get you another wide receiver in this deep wide receiver draft. You got to continue to add talent. You can't just say, "Oh, we got Curtis Samuel and we have Terry. Oh yeah, let's go." Fitz not.
Adam
You
Humphrey.
want to
No.
surround him with as much talent as possible. You want to bring in a guy like Brevin Jordan if you can. You want to give him weapons at all facets of the game. You got to have special teams, because he's not that kind of quarterback that's going to carry you. He's not a Drew Brees. He's not a Peyton Manning. He's just a solid veteran quarterback. There's a gunslinger. He is a gunslinger. So when you gunsling, sometimes you hit, sometimes you miss.
You missed.
Sometimes you
Yeah.
throw it to our team, sometimes you throw it to the other team. But what it all boils down to is, if the defense is good, then Fitz is probably going to be good, because then you don't need him to do a lot. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There were
Yeah.
times when we needed Alex Smith to make some plays. He made some last year, because I'm not a big Alex Smith fan, because he checks down the ball a lot, because he's limited. Even when he was in Kansas City, he was limited. That's why he got replaced after a career year. He's just a limited kind of guy with weapons all over the place. You know what I'm saying? Some of them, he had Kareem Hunt, this guy, that guy, Kelsey, Hill. You know what I'm saying? So he had all these guys. So that's what I'm trying to build here. Let's say that's one of these Alabama guys fall to us, or maybe you trade back and get you a Bateman. I'm not for taking a wide receiver in the first round. I would love to, as a selfish person. But the thing is, you got to continue to just build talent. I'm sorry. If that means no Kelvin Harmon, if that means no AGG, so be it. You want to upgrade. You can't be crying about, lesser talent. You got to be trying to get better, regardless of what you're going to lose. If we find a better quarterback in the draft, somehow we trade up, then cool. It's all about upgrading. It's all about getting better. And I can't be mad. I can't be in my feelings saying, "Oh, I'm going to miss AGG. I never got to know him." Peace out, bro. If you if you have to take one for the team, then you got to take one for the team. I'm all about the team getting better. And as long as we surround Fitz with the right pieces, he's going to be all right.
And we have a couple third-round picks this year, right? We usually, I mean, the last couple years we've hit on them, so
Yes,
hopefully,
that's the
can hit
round.
on a couple
That's
more.
the look. Trade back 51, get back into the third, pick up a late second, pick up a third. I don't know, man. It just seems like that's the money round. I mean, Terry, Gibson. If I go back some more, I'm pretty sure there's a couple more guys that are better than the second round pick. So second round pick is kind of scary. It's like
Yeah.
I almost don't even want that pick, man. Just trade 19 and trade second and go up and get a quarterback
Go
or
back to
something.
the third.
I'm not
Yeah.
saying that on any other show, but like that second round pick is a wash, man. Sewer Cravens, Darius Guy.
Serious guys. And you heard about the reports from like I think it was late last week about the sexual harassment of the grandma, I think.
Yeah,
Oh my gosh.
yeah. Funny thing is, well, not funny thing. The crazy thing is that I was a
Yeah.
big Ice fan, man.
So,
Look, I went to one of those China sites and got me a jersey because I wanted to have a jersey before I was able to purchase one. And
mhm.
I reached out to him, and he was supposed to come on the show, but at the time he was going through some stuff and just didn't want to come on and talk football. And I didn't know that this is what was going on, all this mess. But yeah, he was on one of my favorite players. I love the upside. I love what he could have brought to the table had he stayed healthy, but he didn't. And fell in with the wrong crowd, was doing a wrong thing. And look where we are now. Now he's on the outside looking in. He's working out and trying to stay in shape for that next opportunity. But before he gets
When
another
is that going to
opportunity,
come?
it's gonna be tough. By the time that Ray
Yeah.
Rice didn't come back into the league, it's gonna be tough for guys to come back into the league. But yeah, man, things happen, man. Things happen. And to your point, somebody brought this up on my show, I think last night or the night before. They said,
Hmm.
you remember when we had guys and we drafted Gibson, everybody was mad. I know I was mad. I'm like, why are we getting another running back when we already have so many AP and guys and all these guys? It's all about getting the best available because you see anything can happen. We can say we're good at wide receiver or whatever, and then an injury happens, and then we're back
Yeah.
to square root one or square one, whatever, however you want to say it. So it's always good to get the best available. But yeah, man, the whole Geist thing was just unfortunate, man. We've been terrible drafting second round picks. Maybe this is the
Ryan
year.
Anderson. We didn't even
Ryan,
bring up him.
he was so
Oh no.
frustrating to me, man. I don't even know what his purpose was for us
He
at
had
any
one
year.
okay season. Like
Man,
5 sacks.
yeah, I think last year was he did very good, but that was like in the 3-4 though. So they
Yeah.
drafted him to be a 3-4 edge or 3-4 whatever he is, a Sam or whatever, and it worked. And then this year you're playing a 4-3, he's too small. He can't put his hands into the dirt. I mean, he'll be like a little bug, man. He just get flicked by some of these, big tackles. Like, where can you put him? You put him at Sam, he can't run.
Not
You
fast.
put
Not
him at
yeah.
you put him at a Mike or Will. It's toast.
No.
It's barbecue chicken. So he just really had no space, no home. And I think now he found a new team, and I think that team runs the 3-4. So
Mm.
it's gonna bode well for him. Good luck
Yeah.
to you, Ryan.
Yeah, I mean, he was a good dude, but just did not work out here in DC. But yeah, um, just going through through my notes of questions. What do you think are the most pressing team needs right now for Washington?
Hey, this is a good question because I asked this one on my episode last night, and I don't think that we got
Mm-hmm.
to really get into it like I wanted to because of lack of time. But yeah, we need a linebacker. We need a linebacker. I'm not gonna say quarterback because I think the next year is the year you go after your quarterback. So I'm gonna leave quarterback out, even though it's a glaring need. We need a franchise quarterback, but I don't think this is the year we find a franchise quarterback.
Yeah.
Anything can happen. Maybe we call Atlanta and they take 2 firsts in the second or something. But other than that, I don't see how we trade up to find a franchise quarterback. Trey Lance might be more of a project than what some would say, but it just is what it is. The truth is true. I mean, he's not going to be ready to play this year. So either way, if you go in the fourth round and get you a guy like Kellen Mond or something like that, it's a project. But you have so many projects already. I mean, you invested a fifth round pick in
Yeah.
college. Why not just use the $800K that you're paying him this year and just save money? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It just doesn't make any sense. Then we transition to linebacker. We need a quarterback of the defense. That's a must because in free agency we have not addressed it, and hopefully one
Mm-hmm.
falls to our laps. Then you move on to free safety. We need somebody, man. because
Trey
we had some
Boston.
guys, some guys came in last year and did some stuff, but yeah, man, Apke, that was an epic fail. I think they just wanted to give Apke just that one more try. That he was a former fourth round pick kind of thing, and just wanted to kind of see
Yeah.
what you can get out of him. Couldn't even play special teams. And then you want to look at wide receiver. That's still a need, regardless of who you sign. I still feel like that's a need. You need weapons, man, and especially
Mhm.
if you can get a consistent guy on the outside. You need weapons. I mean, the way that we're gonna play is gonna be put like positionless football, kind of like in the
Yep.
NBA. How you have a guy like LeBron playing power forward or Ben Simmons. I mean, you can just move people all around. You just have five guys on the field. Kind of what we're gonna do on offense. You're gonna just see guys out there. You're not gonna know
Yep.
where they're gonna be playing. You're gonna see crazy stuff. So we definitely need that wide receiver. I mean, you got to continue to add. Then you need a tight end.
Yep.
Logan Thomas is not enough. I mean, you got to bring somebody like underneath him, like a rookie, somebody that he can groom in 2-3 years. Is a time that you see tight ends break out by year 3. So it'll be perfect to bring in somebody young. Let Logan Thomas be the lead dog. Bring in the guy as a rookie, and also maybe pick up somebody free agency. And then you need a backup edge. Look, I've had a lot of thought on this, man. So I'm just
Yeah.
going off the dome. You need a backup edge because with Ryan Kerrigan gone,
He could be
Ryan
back.
Anderson is gone. You got James Smith Williams. I don't think he's ready. He'll be. He'll try to plug in, but God forbid something happens to Chase or Montez. What are you gonna do? There's still some veterans out there that you can grab, but those are the glaring needs that I see. And then guard, offensive line. You need a franchise left tackle.
Yeah.
Okay? And then because Cornelius Lucas is a great story, but he's a free agent after next year. So it's like you got a lot of questions. And then with Sheriff, is he leaving? If he's leaving, then you really need a guard and a left tackle. You can't go into the next season saying, "Oh, we have Sadiq Charles." We have not seen him at a guard. So it's like a lot that needs to be done that we need to figure out. What are we gonna do? What are we trying to do?
Yeah. Yeah. No, you brought up so many good points. I mean, the point about Cornelius Lucas being a free agent this year, I don't think that's talked about enough, right? In terms of, securing, the future at left tackle. But I see everybody in the chat right now down south. Patrick West, Tone. Well, first and foremost, yes. Hopefully Sadiq Charles is ready this year and can lock down that left tackle spot. And we wouldn't have to, draft a left tackle high in the draft, maybe later. But hopefully that happens. But I think, as always, Patrick West, Tone, always on the same wavelength. Middle linebacker. I can't believe that linebacker is just not talked about enough, like among fans on social media or otherwise. Like, we literally have Cole Holcomb. John Bostic is a backup. I know he racks up the tackles. Everybody loves talking about that. I've seen enough of John
Boston
Bostic.
is
He is a
gone.
backup. He is a backup at best, much like he was in Pittsburgh and all the other stops that he's had around the league. But it's a picture. That's a nice picture right there. But
I know, right?
but yeah. So like linebacker, I don't know why we won't go after a guy like KJ Wright.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's on the market. Sure, he's like 30-ish, but he's not too old, right? He gives you that veteran leadership, and he also gives you that production.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we might look out and potentially sign him after the draft. We'll
After
see,
the
but
draft, he's the after the draft candidate. At this point, it's kind of like if you haven't made a move, that means you're not gonna make a move. Even a guy like Trey Boston, like it's like, what are they doing? Why are they not signing these guys? And it just seems like this is gonna be one of those moves they make after the draft.
Yeah. So yeah, Cole Holcomb, we got to shore up that position for sure. And then second position would have to be offensive tackle, as I've talked about in other live streams in the past. I just think the perfect position for Cornelius Lucas will be like the swing tackle, tying second type position, where he wouldn't be relied upon as a consistent starting left tackle in this league, but would give you solid reps like he did last year. And then potentially going after a guy like, as Down South mentions, not Cornelius, the left tackle from Virginia Tech, Darisaw, potentially having him. He's from PG County too, local product. we're starting to build a team with a bunch of local products.
Yeah,
Maybe,
hey, let's
he
get
could
it.
come on board. I mean, what are your
I
thoughts
mean,
on that?
I like it, man. Darisaw is definitely a guy you can grab at 19. The kind of the way that I would approach the draft before the Curtis Samuel signing, I was like, man, give me Bateman, give me whoever,
Yeah.
receiver, because I didn't know what we were going to do. I didn't know if we were going to sign anybody.
Yeah.
We got Curtis Samuel, so it's like receiver is not a must in the first round unless you get one of
Mhm.
the top 3 guys. It just falls to your left, kind of like CeeDee Lamb fell to Dallas. So now, if you can get you a Darisaw, awesome. To me, I feel like he's the second best tackle in the entire draft. If you can get him at 19, that's solid. I mean, at best, he'll be a very good left tackle. At worst, he's going to be a very nice swing tackle, a guy that can
Yeah.
play some guard for you. That's at worst. But I think he's a safe pick. There's a couple other guys that are safe picks. But, I mean, getting a left tackle at 19 makes me happy. Slide him over to a left tackle, then Cornelius
Mhm.
Lucas re-sign him, let him be a swing tackle. Then you can now move your guy to and then he can play some guard. So he also covers like all 3 facets in case Sheriff leaves and you want to play him right away. You can start him off at right guard, left guard, or wherever. And then when you're done with Cornelius Lucas, you then slide him back to left tackle. So there's a lot of versatility with Darisaw, and that's what
Yeah.
Coach Rivera preaches. He preaches versatility, versatility. So, hey, if we can get him at 19, I'll be excited. I promise you that. If we can get a linebacker like Xavier Collins, or
Mm.
if Micah Parsons just falls to 19,
Ooh,
oh my
that's my
God,
dream
man.
pick. That's my
Oh
dream
my
pick
God.
right now.
Yeah, so either way it goes, LT linebacker, those are priorities. As much as I love wide receivers, man,
Yeah.
look, it just is what it is. I cannot be selfish. I can't be selfish. You know what I'm saying? So that's just
Yep. And AM Hunter, I mean, what's up, bro? The Caleb Farley, I heard about that. I mean, it looks like he's dropping. His draft stock is dropping. I've seen the Bleacher Report article as well,
what's up,
naming
bro.
him as one of the guys who are dropping in this draft because of his injury and stuff. Play for Virginia Tech. I know cornerback is not a huge need at all right now for us, but maybe in terms of depth, we potentially get him later in the draft because of the fact that his stock is dropping, especially with Fabian Moreau no longer being here, and we still need depth there. But that would be a great pickup if we, so choose to pick him up.
Like I said, man, it's that 19 is perfect. 19 is
Yeah.
perfect. You're gonna have some corners out there. You're gonna have some linebackers. You're gonna have some free safeties. I mean, really, you could trade back. Like if something is at 19, that's not for us. Let's say Mac Jones falls to 19, and the team don't want Mac. I don't want Mac Jones. Hopefully, they don't want Mac Jones, and I just don't feel like he fits our system. But I think he's going to be a very good quarterback in this league. So if he drops to 19, you can call some of these teams. Yo, do you want a quarterback or not? Do you want Mac Jones? Do you want this receiver? Or do you want this tight end? Or whatever the case may be, you can trade back twice. You can trade back from 19 to 25, and from 25 to 29. I know it's not the best thing to do to trade from 19 to 29, but if you can gain 29 and gain 2 seconds or a second and a third from trading back twice, oh man, you can do so much. Now at 29, you have all the options. There's like 4 or 5 linebackers that I would take in the first round. Somebody's going to be there at 29. You can go that route. There's some tackles that are first round grades that are going to be available. You can go that route. Or you can just say, you know what, bump it. Let me go ahead and get Richie Grant. Let me go ahead and solidify my safety right now. You get Richie Grant, then you have an early second round pick, right? Now you got options. You want to go receiver, you want to go guard, you want to go LT, you want to go, best available. You can even trade back again and acquire an extra third and still have 2 second round picks and maybe 3 third round picks. So there's a lot of possibilities that can happen based off of who's available at 19. So I'm not opposed to trading back. I seen somebody said Nick Bolton, Cox. I mean, it's guys out there. There are guys out there to where you can trade back from 19, pick up a stellar talent to have that first round rookie contract, that 5th-year option, and still can do some damage in the second and third round. Since if the third round is where you make your money, you can trade a second for next year's second and a second. I mean, there's just so many possibilities that
Yeah.
and happiness. So many things that you can do. You can trade up, you can trade back. When you have the assets, you can do some damage. And
Yeah.
we'll see what happens, man. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. Well, first off, whenever anyone mentions Mac Jones, I gotta say roll Tide because that's my team right there. But
Oh,
yeah, I'm
that's your
not
squad.
even
Okay.
having said that, I'm gonna go all Stephen A. Having said that, I respect him, right? Great stats up in Alabama, but here's where the but is. I just don't think he would be a great fit here in DC. I don't think the team is really looking into him as potentially the next quarterback of Washington. I think, like you said, this is the year. This is not the year when we're going to get our franchise quarterback. This is the year where we're going to solidify all the holes that we have left on this team. And linebacker, for me, is first and foremost that big need. I'm not saying we have to go after like a Micah Parsons or even a Collins, Xavier Collins in the first round. Maybe going like after Dylan Moses or a guy who's very similar to Cole Holcomb, right? Because he played at UNC, very athletic. Chaz Surratt as well in the later rounds. We could do that as well. But yeah, so linebacker, second need, offensive tackle. Like I said, Cornelius Lucas, hopefully he could just be that swing tackle. We solidify that left tackle spot either with Charles or with someone in the draft. And my third need would be tight end / receiver, just an offensive catching weapon. Really doesn't really matter what position. If one of the top 3 receivers falls to us, Jalen Waddle, Devontae Smith, who I hear is also his stock is also declining. And not Justin Jefferson, the other guy from LSU, Jamar Chase. He probably won't fall, but maybe Devontae Smith, Jalen Waddle, one of the two.
You get any of those guys, man,
Yeah.
you're talking about Pro Bowl Fitzpatrick. I'm just saying. I mean, you think about it. You get you a Smith or you get you a Waddle with the speed that we already have and the Gibson and the Logan, and maybe get your Brevin Jordan in the second or third, or some tight end. Somebody's going to be available to kind of help boost this offense up. And I forgot to mention running back is a need. We need a number 2 running back. We need somebody who's capable.
No more Peyton Barber.
No more Peyton Barber. And the draft is full of them. You can find you a guy in the 4th, maybe 5th. I don't even know if we have a 5th round pick this year, but you can find a guy between the 4th and the 6th round that's going to be way better than Peyton Barber. A guy that can do some damage. Some of these running backs are going to fall. And if you get the right guy, you got your guy, and it makes the offense even more explosive. But like I said, if you get any one of those Alabama guys with Fitzmagic, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. He's a Pro Bowler. I mean, it'll be the most talented that he's ever had. People not Fitzpatrick.
Best
and
team.
There's been times when he's had like a Eric Decker and Brandon Marshall, but it's like in the tail end of their careers or whatever. He's had
not Marshall though. Not Marshall. I don't think he was right. Didn't he have like that great? He had a couple like legendary performances when Fitzpatrick was throwing him the ball.
Yeah, that's what, no. What I'm saying was like he was with the Jets, and I think after the Jets, can you think of where he went after that? I think maybe the Jets was probably like his last team, where it was towards the end, but he was still in his prime. But what I'm saying is like after that, I don't remember Brandon Marshall again, to be honest. So Brandon Marshall was special. What I'm saying is like the more talent you give Fitz, the better. I think he had like 30 touchdowns that year. He had 30 touchdowns. So, I mean, you add a Waddle or let's just talk about this for a second. If you add a Waddle or a Smith, blazing speed, they can run any route, they go deep. I mean, who do you double?
I mean, double team.
Who do you double? You got Terry over there. You got Samuel, who's probably in the backfield somewhere, doing this thing. You got Gibson, who they're expecting to catch some more passes this year, right? You got Logan Thomas going across the middle. Who do you guard, man? Who do you guard? And if you add a upgraded RB2, and then you got McKissick. Let's not forget about McKissick, man. Yeah. He's going to play a lot of slot receiver. And then Adam Humphries. I mean, Fitzpatrick has no excuses. It's kind of like Daniel Jones has weapons. He has no excuses this year. So if you get one of them Alabama guys for Fitz with the team that he already has now, he has no excuses. He's definitely a Pro Bowler.
Yeah.
Take care of the turnovers, win some games, and you're an instant Pro Bowler.
Yeah.
What a story, huh?
Yeah. And like you can't forget that defense too. Sometimes their best offense is a great defense. So
great defense. So he might not even put up the numbers. He might just be so efficient and offense is flowing to where we're probably scoring points field goals, touchdowns, to where let's say he gets like 25 to 27 touchdowns, right? But then only throws for like 3,300 because he didn't have to. You know what I'm saying? So many things can happen, so many options. So I'm all for it.
Yeah. And I see here AM Hunter agreeing with your point about trading back, recouping a lot of picks. Yeah, I think we're in the perfect spot to trade back, honestly, because like you said, the linebackers they're probably gonna fall to that late first round range. We'll probably still have a couple of receivers as well back then in that draft. And obviously won't have the top three receivers, right? And Waddle,
Right.
Smith, and Chase, but still gonna have some good talent
Hey,
there. But
Rondell Moore, Rondell
yeah,
Moore, early
he's
second
short
round.
though.
You can
Yeah.
trade back from 19 and pick up whatever linebacker you want and Rondell Moore. So I mean, it can get really fun. I'm telling you, it can get really fun if you trade back from 19, because especially if you want a linebacker or a free safety, that's a perfect
Mm-hmm.
spot to get you. Like, who's that guy that was on the Terps? The free safety from Green Bay. Uh,
Savage, Darnell Savage.
Savage. See,
Yeah.
Savage. I wanted Savage that year, but he went like late first round. And
Yeah.
then Patrick Queen, another guy that went late first round. So that's the kind of the range when you start seeing some linebackers go, some receivers go. I mean, that late first round area is pretty nice. You can pick up early second round. I'm dishing 19 so fast. Give me
Yeah.
a early second, late. I'm on it.
Yeah. I don't know if it's my Wi-Fi or your Wi-Fi, Manny. I guess so. I did want to bring up the comment here from AM Hunter as well. No, we have a boatload of picks this year. We talked about it, 2 third-round picks, second round pick as well, first round pick. So we're absolutely loaded in the draft. We could always trade back again, like you said, get some more picks. But yeah, I think Manny is frozen now. For those in the chat, is it me or is it Manny that you guys can't see? Just let me know. And some other comments in here. Okay.
I'm getting a lot of.
All right. I do want to touch on Patrick West's point right here. Offense, yeah, definitely going to be much more fun to watch this season than it was last year behind check down Alex. Alex was already limited before his injury as a quarterback, like you said, Manny, but now it's probably, I mean, last year after the injury and how limited he was, it just wasn't fun to watch. And some other points as well that I see in the chat that I want to get to. Yeah, again, no Mac Jones. Bear Bryant, I mean, that's cool. That's cool. Legendary coach there. Nick Saban has probably surpassed him as the greatest college football coach of all time, rightfully so. After winning so many championships, always being contention for a national championship, and obviously being the reigning champion last year. And I think we're having some technical difficulties with the stream, but we're just going to continue pushing. Can you hear me, Manny? Oh, maybe not. Kyle Pitts. I mean, do you guys really think he's going to fall to late first round? I don't know. I don't know. Kyle Pitts, I think he's going to be a top 10 pick at this point, especially with the pro day that he put on, the amazing measurables that he has right now. I just don't think he's going to last that long. Yeah, I saw that. Devontae Smith. Manny, can you hear me? No. Just trying to get some tech issues ironed out. But again, with Devontae Smith, again, that would be spectacular. If we could get any of the top 3 receivers in this draft to couple with Terry McLaurin, Curtis Samuel, Adam Humphries, like that's spectacular. And like Manny said earlier, we don't have a quarterback that's going to lead a team to a championship right now, right? Our best bet is to just surround the quarterback with as many weapons as possible to rack up as many wins as possible. And Devontae Smith would get you that, right? As a Bama fan, I watched a lot of his highlights last year, and he was absolutely spectacular. Obviously, he was, I believe, the first Heisman Trophy winner since as a receiver since not Charles Woodson, Desmond Howard, who was actually a Redskins pick back in the day. I mean, it shows you how spectacular he is. He's getting a lot of Marvin Harrison comparisons. So if we could get Devontae Smith, man, with that offense, Antonio Gibson, we already have a bunch of speed as well. Antonio Gibson, Terry McLaurin, Curtis Samuel, all 4.33 or under guys. That would be spectacular. Zaven Collins would be an absolute great get here in DC as a linebacker. I really think Zaven Collins, Micah Parsons, we talked about as our dream pick at linebacker. That would be absolutely spectacular. And and I see again, we're having some tech difficulties on our end in terms of Manny joining, but hopefully he rejoins soon. Just really just just going through this stream on my own at this point, and it's been good fun. But Zaven Collins, would be a great fit here in DC, in my opinion. Record prediction, you know what? Might as well go through the schedule. Let me bring it up right now. Wanted to do this on the spot without much prep time, just because, just give you guys my initial thoughts, looking at the new schedule, and yeah. So let me bring it up right now. Okay. All right. So I see the schedule right here. 2021 Washington football team schedule as released earlier this week, with the last team being named the Buffalo Bills because of the 17th game that we have this season for the first time. And yeah, so I see the teams right here. Let me bring up the most up to date because I don't think they have the Bills. Let me bring up the image of the schedule. All right. Okay, so we got the Cowboys at home, Cowboys away, obviously. I think this year we're gonna split those two games. I just think, Dak Prescott being back. I know the defense in Dallas is still not great whatsoever, but I think we're gonna split those two games. So get us at 1-1. I think our defense is gonna find a way to help us win at home. But away, I think Dallas is probably gonna pull that out this year. And then you got the Giants. It's tough, man. Last year, those two losses to the Giants were probably the worst two losses. Okay, so I see Manny's back. All
Yeah,
right, can
man.
you hear me?
What's going on? Yes, I can hear you.
All right. I'm just talking about the schedule right now because Gregory wanted to ask us about what our thoughts are with the record predictions and all that. But I just start off with the Cowboys. What are your thoughts on us playing the Cowboys this year twice? And do you think we're gonna pull out two W's, maybe have a split, or what are your thoughts on that?
I can't say two W's just because Dak is coming back, but at
Yeah.
the same time, they don't have a defense. And how good is our offense? So it's a lot of questions between now and when the season starts. So right now, to be safe, I'd probably say a split.
Yeah.
But a team like Philadelphia, you got to sweep them to have any chance of playoffs. You can't be losing to Philly. I think they're the worst team in the division. And if you can somehow get a sweep on the Giants as a revenge, then that just bodes well. The goal is 6 games in the NFC East, right? You got to go 4-2. You got to go 4-2. So if you can split with Dallas and split with Giants and sweep the Eagles, then you are in great shape. You got to go 4-2. If you don't go 4-2, then you have no purpose in life. Like, why are you playing football? Like, why are you in the NFC East? Like, the worst division in football as of last year. It's going to get better. Yeah. But if you can't go 4-2 in that division, then you don't deserve the playoffs. You can't even go 3-3. 3-3 is not acceptable. It's not acceptable, especially getting that 17th game and adding Buffalo. You think that's going to be an easy W or even a W at that? So you got to dominate your division. That's how you're able to wear a shirt like this that says division champs, and those don't come around too often. This is our opportunity to be division champs back to back. We have not been a back to back division winner in for how long? So this is a great opportunity to do it. And if not, at least go 4-2 and try to win 10 games.
Mm-hmm.
Try to get into the wild card that way, 10-7. That does. I know it sounds weird, 10-7, but
Is that your prediction for this year? 10-7.
I'll say this: we need 10 wins to at least have a shot at making the playoffs. Even though you have 17 games and you have 7 teams in the playoffs, you need 10 games. If you don't have 10 games, you're not in the conversation because you don't know which conference is gonna have a 10-win team like the Dolphins and not make it. Yeah. We were very fortunate to have it. The NFC was a little bit weaker, so every year it kind of flips sometimes. So sometimes you get influx of so much talented teams that you can't produce like you want to produce.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I agree. 10-7 would probably, especially in the NFC East, would probably guarantee you a playoff spot. If we're gonna be honest, I think 9-8 is still a possibility, just because, in the NFC at least. I mean, a lot of teams are probably gonna fall back this year. The Saints without Drew Brees. You got the Bears, who were technically, people forget this, they were a playoff team this past season, and at 8-8, and they were a complete mess at the quarterback position, as I know very well here in Chicago. So, the defense, but it's aging. A lot of older guys now. I mean, Mitch Trubisky wasted a lot of those defensive players' prime. So, I don't know. It's not looking too bright for the Bears.
Defensively was what helped them last year. As far as this year, you lose a Fuller, you lose some of these guys, and Khalil Mack might even get traded. So, you just never know. Like with the Bears, man, they don't have a quarterback, so there's no direction there. So we don't know what's going to happen. So lots of teams, but you don't want to be in that wild card thing. Man, that wild card thing is stressful, man. That's not where you want to be. Trust me, that is not where you want to be. You want to win that division or at least get to 10 wins. 10 wins gives you a shot. It gives you a shot. Maybe you're the highest wild card seed, and then you don't play, the toughest team in the first round. So I just think the number is 10. Get 4 from the NFC East and figure out the other 6. That's my formula. Every year, get 4 from the NFC East, and then you're like almost halfway there. You figure out the other 6. Maybe you get lucky and you play a sorry team, a team that was good that now turns sorry, like the Saints. They have the potential to be sorry this year. There's some the Vikings. They're kind of up and down.
Although Manny, with the Saints though, you got to be careful. A lot of us have to be careful because Sean Payton, he always finds a way to win, right? Like even when they didn't have Drew Brees, they had Teddy Bridgewater. I believe they went 5-0 or 5-1 or something like that. And then, last couple of seasons without Drew Brees, they always find a way to, if not pull out the W in the end, be very close to doing it. So I don't think they're going to be sorry. I just think they're going to fall back a little bit from what we saw last year.
All right, let's break this down position by position. Okay. Quarterback. You got Jameis, you got Fitz. I got to give it to Jameis. Fitz outplayed Jameis, so they're about the same. Or they're like, they're gunslingers. Whoever that has the less interceptions probably wins that. Matchup. Then wide receiver, they got Michael Thomas. We got Terry and. They don't have a Michael Thomas and as of right now.
No more Sanders. Yep.
No more Sanders. You go to tight end. Cook is gone. We win that. You go to O-line, they probably got us. They probably got us on O-line. I can't even lie. Then you go to running back. You can say, okay, Kamara and Murray, they got us. Yeah. So it's kind of like, okay, they got us there in 2 spots out of. And then you go defense. Our defense is better. They have phenomenal, great defensive talent. They have top 5, top 10 defense. So it's kind of like when you're looking at the teams, they're kind of built the same, but I'll give the edge to us. So it's not saying that we're better than them. It's just kind of looking at how they're built. So there's going to be a lot of teams that come down to quarterback play. And he said, Manny Fitzmagic. Like, look, I'm on the Fitzmagic train. I am on the Fitzmagic train. Guys like Sanchez is saying, Fitz tragic, and that's fine. That is fine. I just look at all the quarterbacks that are out there. And there was a team that got Andy Dalton, right? Yeah, I'm good on that. I'm good on that. There's a team that has Brissett as the backup in case Tua doesn't work. There's a team that's starting Tyrod Taylor. So it could have been a whole lot worse. It could have been a whole lot worse. And I'm just glad that out of all the worst quarterbacks, we got the best of the worst, if you want to say that. I'll give you that argument if you want that. But it's going to come down to some quarterback play. And I just like the guy that we have, man. He's going to give us some juice, man. He's going to give us some juice. I wasn't feeling Dalton. I wasn't feeling some of the options that were out there. I just think that fits for a year is okay. $10 million, that's a steal. Starting quarterbacks don't get paid $10 million, so I'll take that all the way around.
Yeah, I agree. Although I will say though, I'm sort of in the same boat as Corey. Like like he always talks about this. He's at the stop, right? Like the train stop, but he's not on the train yet. And I'm sort of the same way. I mean, he is our quarterback. Like you can't say anything about that right now. But I do worry that Fitztragic is going to show up at the worst of times, much like Kirk Cousins showed up at the worst of times to throw a pick or cost us on a strip sack or something like that. So I don't know. We'll see. I do have faith that our quarterback play this year will not have us pulling our hairs out like it did last year, watching Alex Smith. I mean, all the quarterbacks. I don't even have to name them one by one. All the quarterbacks just was not fun. What we saw with Taylor Heineke was the most fun we saw at the quarterback position this whole season. And that was in the playoffs. So, Protect, what's up?
And that's what Fitz is going to give you. Like Taylor Heineke, he's a slinger too. He'll sling it, but he can run. So he's like a perfect blend of both. And that's a little bit of what you're going to get out of Ryan Fitzpatrick, which makes me excited about the whole thing because he's going to throw the ball, man. We have the talented wide receivers, man. Like even Case Keenum threw the ball. Like the first game of the year is when you knew that Terry might be something. You know what I'm saying? Terry should have had 2 bombs. Like there was one that he couldn't get to Terry, but Terry can go deep, but we don't have the guy to get him the ball. So I think this year you're going to see a more fun Terry McLaurin, and I'm excited about it.
Yeah, and I agree. Kyle Allen did show some good things over the course of the season, but as we've seen throughout his relatively short career, he always seems to get injured, and we saw that early last season. So yeah. So we got through pretty much all the questions that I had about the Washington football team. But there's a little thing that I hope people realize this by now, potentially following you or potentially subscribe to your channel, which you should if you haven't already, but you're a super big NBA fan as well. And you're a super big Lakers fan as well.
Yes, sir.
And I want to get your and Wizards fan as well. Can't forget that.
Yeah.
So I want to ask you.
Talk about them much because they're just so bad. You know what I'm saying?
They're always bad. Literally the last 20 years, it's been terrible for the Wizards. But I do want to ask you some NBA questions, including the Wizards. And first and foremost, what are your thoughts on the Wizards the last couple of weeks, especially Russell Westbrook, absolutely balling out, triple doubles every single night? It seems like getting called out by Stephen A. Smith, only to clap back at him. What are your thoughts on the Wizards right now?
Yeah, the Wizards, man, they are just ultra trash, okay?
Yeah.
The coach is ultra trash, and until that coach is gone, you're going to continue to see mediocre performances from this team, and they have all the talent. You got 2 of the best guards in the entire league. When you let Russ cook, when you let Russ do what Otto Porter was bad, man. Otto Porter. Look, you get Otto Porter, you traded them for expiring deals. The expiring deals that you traded them for, you got nothing out of it. Like Jabari Parker and Bobby Portis, 2 good players, but you can even pay them. But then you let Kelly Oubre go for Ariza. So when you look at what everybody was crying for, let Ernie go. Ernie's trash and Ernie's this. Ernie is gone. Ernie ain't the problem. It's Scotty Brooks. Scotty gotta go.
Yep.
Scotty gotta go, baby. I mean, he's not it. He's not it. And you look at every other move that they've made. Troy Brown Jr. should not have been the pick. Who's drafting for these guys? I know that was an Ernie pick, but Denny is not ready. I'm a big Denny fan. He's not ready. He should not be starting. He should not be getting minutes. You can't tell me that you don't have anybody that can take the minutes away from Denny. Are you serious? Is this an NBA team or G League squad? Then you get the right G League guys and you don't give them opportunities. Garrison Matthews, why did it take so long for you to put him into the lineup? Like, what are you doing? Alex Lynn and Robin Lopez. I mean, you don't get a center that's better than Thomas Bryant, who's a power forward that came from the Lakers. So it's like when you look at how the team is built, they're not built well. They're not built right now. You're trying to go ahead and get you a Gafford. You're trying to go ahead and get you a Hutchinson to fix the mess because you don't have a 3-and-D wing. You don't have a true center. Now you're stuck. You don't have a rim protector. You don't have a guy to defend. So you put up all these points, and you have the wrong personnel and the wrong coach, and this is what you get.
Yeah.
This is what you get. So I keep up with the team. I don't talk about them. People say, "Are you even a Wizards fan?" Yes, I am, but I can't get excited about that. Well, you haven't said anything about the Wizards all year. You're right. I have not said anything because you're trash. I'm not going to spend my time watching games knowing that they're going to lose. Have the lead. You're up by 25 and lose in the fourth quarter. It's unacceptable. You know what I'm saying? You can't have a product like that and have fans be excited about it. So of course I'm gonna talk about my Lakers more than my Wizards. It just is what it is.
And we'll get to them. We'll get to them a little bit later. And by later I mean like 2 minutes from now after I make my remarks on the Wizards. But yeah, man, I'm in the same boat. Like people ask me why don't I talk about the Wizards more? Why don't I post more like Wizards? Guys, they suck. They've sucked for like literally most of my like life, if we're gonna be honest, right? Like they're so bad as an organization, one of the worst run organizations in all of basketball. Scott Brooks, man, he should have been fired a couple of years ago. Like I don't know what they're waiting on right now. The only great pick that they've had in the draft since Beal was picked, I believe in 2012, was Rui Hachimura, and I'm a huge believer in Rui. I think he's gonna be really good for us for a long time. But my gosh, the Wizards are just they're effed right now, if we're going to be honest. Like, they got a big contract in Russell Westbrook. Bradley Beal right now, big contract, but like even if he re-signs with us, another big contract as well. So salary cap situation not looking too bright. And coaching, oh my gosh, terrible. Yeah, so the Wizards, not much hope for them. We talked about the Nats early, the Caps, things are looking good for them right now. Hopefully they could continue, their winning ways as they usually do every single year. Pretty much the opposite of the Wizards in my lifetime. So hopefully they could maybe get close to another Stanley Cup. We'll see. But again, like as promised, I want to ask you some other questions about the NBA because I know, everything about the NBA and the Lakers. No LeBron. No AD.
No LeBron, no AD.
Then you got that team in the East right now.
And no Drummond.
No Drummond as well. Toe injury. I just heard about that last night.
No Embiid. Barely no Steph Curry. I mean, so it's just not us. No KD.
Overrated Curry.
I know the team you're talking about in the East. I know what you're trying to say right now. But hear me when I say this. It's like everybody's getting hurt. We're in the new NBA season to where things are different, man. Things are different. Teams are playing like every other night, like 4 games in 7 nights, crazy things like that, right? So you're expecting your team to be healthy. And the goal right now, honestly, I really think that there's some guys that are not hurt, that are saying that they're hurt just to be ready for the playoffs. I'm telling you this right now. There's some guys that are hurt, but they're not hurt. And they're getting some rest because they don't want to be playing every other game. And they know that home field advantage does not matter. They know that the records do not matter. They know that the fans are not there. So it doesn't really matter. The only thing that matters is the travel. You're going to travel regardless, whether you get an extra 4th game or you're not. So when it comes down to it, you're going to see some guys come out like miraculously. You're going to see blind people. Their eyes are healed. You're going to see people with limbs. You see a Drummond said his toenail came off. It's going to be magically healed, okay? You're going to see.
That happened to me, too. I'll play basketball. That hurts, man.
Yeah, I mean, look, I know it hurts. I know I'm being silly here, but you're going to see some guys ready for the playoffs that you're going to be like, but I thought you had a knee contusion, a knee ACL, almost MCL. I'm telling you, man, all of these guys, they're good, man. They're all working out. They're just waiting for the playoffs to start. And they know that it's a weird season to where you can't really, play the season like the way that you want to play the season. So, yeah, I mean, everybody's hurt right now. It's all about the playoffs. Everybody's just thinking about, hey, May. Playoffs are starting in May. We just want to be healthy. We just want to be ready for the playoffs. So you're going to see a lot of all these stars. A lot of these guys are going to be back. You got a guy like Joel Embiid. They said he's coming back Saturday. He's been good to go for weeks, okay? He's just trying to buy up all the time that he can get. Because if anybody gets hurt this month or next month, it's pretty much a wrap. So why risk it? That's just my personal thing. I can say that because I don't work for anybody, and I can possibly get fined, but who cares? I'm not paying that stuff. You know, so I can speak my mind and kind of say what I think is going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, first before getting into the Lakers, yeah, Tone. Like, what more do we have to say, man? The Wizards are just a garbage organization. Like, I could roast them for a good 10 minutes, but I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna waste Manny's time. Yeah, Troy Brown Jr., Mo Wagner, as Manny talked about a little bit earlier. I mean, weren't especially TBJ wasn't a great pick then, and we basically gave him up for a bag of chips. And Mo Wagner, I see that he's doing some good things with the Bulls right now, I believe. So yeah, Wizards just shows you again like how bad of an organization this team is. With the Lakers though, I guess I'm one of the few non-Lakers fans who believes that a healthy Lakers team is still gonna win the championship this year. Maybe I'm like one of the few. I don't know. I predicted them to win last year. I still predict them to win this year, even against that Nets juggernaut right now.
Mhm.
I think the key is LeBron coming back, man. LeBron is what runs. I see the LeBron jersey right there, old
Yeah,
Cavs jersey,
yeah,
retro
man.
jersey. I see that.
Yeah, so that was the original. That's when I was
Yep.
a LeBron fan. That was original. Matter of fact, I get this away. So this was the original LeBron jersey, man. Yeah, but yeah, I'm with you, man. I think the Lakers win it all. Adding Andre Drummond just made it even like extra. That's just extra
Yep.
ammo, extra boost. The guy's legit when he's healthy with AD. See, AD does not want to play center. He'll play some small ball center if he has to, but if you look at how the Lakers are constructed, when you have all your guys, they're the number one defensive team in the NBA. People talk about if the Lakers can add an Avery Bradley in the buyout market, it's over. I'm not saying that he's going to stop Kyrie, but when you have Caruso and Avery Bradley, KCP, those are guys that you can put on Kyrie's and Harden's. Harden is unguardable. Kyrie's unguardable, but guess what? You got guys that can help to slow those people down. And then you got the two Twin Towers in the back to kind of clean up some messes, right?
Yeah.
Where the Lakers will struggle is if they're not making their tray ball. When you transition to the Lakers bench, you got Montrezl Harrell, the ultimate pick and dunk. It's not pick and pop. It's not pick and roll. It's pick and dunk. He dunks everything. It doesn't matter who this. I used to think, oh, it's because he's doing that on the backup centers. No, he's doing it on the starters. I mean, he's legit. He just gathers his steps and he just dunks on everybody. So you have a guy like that. You have a guy like THT who's coming into his own. You have a guy like Caruso just makes winning plays. He's one of those guys you want on your team. He's going to make the smart play that helps you win. Then you have a Markieff Morris, who we loved here in DC, that has turned into a great three-point shooter. So you have a guy that can stretch the floor. And the way that bench is built, now you have a Marc Gasol now slide into the bench who can make passes and knock down that open three. They say that they're going to play some Gasol and Trez together and have Trez play the center on offense, Gasol the four-man on offense to stretch the floor. And then on
But
defense,
how's that gonna work though? Isn't Gasol very slow at this point in
he's
his career?
very
Like,
slow. He's very slow, but he can stand there and shoot the three. Now, defensively, they're going to struggle trying to match those, but they said on defense, Montrezl Harrell is guarding the power forwards and Gasol is guarding the centers. That's if the matchup presents itself. Obviously, that lineup is not going to go 10 minutes. Probably a little 3 to 4 minutes, 5 minutes if it's working, 6 minutes if it's really working, So Trez is the center on offense, then Mark just stretches the floor. His job is just to stand there. And you're going to look at him and say, look at this big 7-foot, fat, slow guy. He can't shoot. And he's going to pop a couple threes that are going to go in. He's going to get limited minutes. So they're going to find a way to get all three of their centers into the game. And then you got the Kyle Kuzma. That's the wild card. Even though he's averaging 12 points a game this season, he's having his best season ever because he's rebounding at a high clip. You can go and look at the games that AD has missed and look at how well he's rebounding. He's one of the tops in offensive rebounding, defensive rebounding. He's shooting the three, the best of his life. I'm not saying it's the best, but 37% is the best for Kuzma. So Kuzma just gives you that extra boost, and he's improved his defense. So when you look at how they're built, they got the players. It's all about, can they knock down the threes? And I think that's going to be the only thing that scares me with this squad.
Yeah.
Can KCP repeat what he did
What
last
has
year?
happened? Yeah, what has happened with KCP? I thought
He's
he
so
was
streaky.
big time last year in the bubble, man. Like he was making almost every single three. Like it was
Right.
crazy.
He's so streaky, man. He's one of them. He's one of them guys that when he's going, but you need him
Yeah.
to get going. Wesley Matthews needs to get going. Kuzma needs to get going. Schroeder is a catch and shoot 3-point shooter. He's not I'm gonna dribble and shoot. No, he's the worst at that. So they got the play. I forgot about Schroeder. Schroeder is another guy you can put on Kyrie and he can pick up Kyrie 90 feet. You know what I'm saying? Like he says Lakers in 7. Yeah, I can see that. I can definitely see that. I can see Lakers in 6. And I'm not being cocky or bragging, but when you look at the moves that the Nets have made, it's Blake Griffin and LaMarcus Aldridge. Are they really better than Montrezl Harrell and Kuzma? No. And I'm not even talking about their big moves. I'm just talking about Trez and Kuzma are better than Blake.
Harden, Kyrie, and KD, if healthy.
Look, Kyrie and KD are unstoppable.
Yeah.
But who do they guard? Who's guarding Andre Drummond, first of all? So now you got to play a center. You got to play DeAndre Jordan. Come here. DeAndre Jordan, you know what we're going to do to you? Pick and roll. Let's see you play some pick and roll defense. Drummond can play some pick and roll defense. He can move his feet, but DeAndre Jordan cannot. Then you say, okay, KD is unstoppable. KD cannot guard AD. It's just not, it's not what you want. KD is going to be wetting them up, but AD is going to take him into the paint and draw fouls on KD. Then you want to talk about Harden and Kyrie. They're some of the worst defenders in the league. So I'm not disputing their scoring. They're going to score sometimes 120 to 140 points. But the thing is, if you can't stop your opponents, you're in trouble. And what happens when the Lakers slow it down and play LeBron AD pick and roll style offense, or LeBron that goes into there's nobody on that team that can guard LeBron. So we're not even talking about AD.
LeBron's going to guard Harden, you think?
He's going to have to. I mean, or you can put KCP on Harden. You can put Schroeder on Harden. I mean, there's different guys you can put on Harden. They're going to have to beat us in the perimeter. That's where they're going to have to. When you come inside, the inside is locked. People are underestimating the Lakers' defense, honestly. And they're going to have to make sure.
Drummond isn't the greatest of defenders, if we're going to
He's not the greatest of defenders, but when you call a pick and he switches out to you, I'm gonna send you some tape that's gonna blow your mind. He is one of the best, if not the best, center at getting steals. I'm talking about one-on-one defense. I mean, he ripped D-Wade 2 times in one game, took it coast to coast and dunked it twice. So when you see a big man like that, he has quick hands, he has active hands. Not the best defender, of course. Like, he's not gonna lock up KD or lock up any of these guys, but he has no center to guard. Yeah. Like, he's just gonna be roaming around. DeAndre Jordan, we're not worried about him. Now, when they go small and he has to go out there and guard LaMarcus Aldridge or Blake Griffin on the 3-point line, and it's different. There's no threat there in terms of a big man. It's all perimeter based. And when KD drives, there's going to be somebody waiting for you. And that's when you're going to see a Marc Gasol very beneficial as the third guy that comes in for AD or Drummond. Having that big body is going to help. Then you got Trez that's just going to do what Trez does. So I love how we match up against the Nets. The Nets don't scare me. The Sixers do. That's the team that is very good defensively, adding Danny Green and Seth Curry, 2 great defensive players to go with Ben Simmons, who might win Defensive Player of the Year, and a Joel Embiid. That's the team that scares me. I'm not worried about the Nets. I'm not cocky. I'm just speaking the truth. The Sixers, they scare me.
Okay.
They scare me.
Do you want to ask you like 2 very quick questions before we wrap up? The tone here, I'm not going to ask you specifically about, whether LeBron's going to catch up to Jordan in terms of championships or anything, but in terms of, because I know Ed and I, Ed from the real Ed Oliver, right, on YouTube here.
I've seen some of those discussions.
Yeah. So, let's just say, he's on the KD fence right now as the best player in the world. I'm on the LeBron fence. Have been on that fence for the last 12, 13 years now. But you think LeBron's still the best player in the world?
It's LeBron. It's not even close. LeBron leads teams.
Yeah.
KD goes to add to teams
Yeah.
and bring out what he does best. He's just a sniper. He's a killer, but he can't do the things that LeBron can do.
Yeah.
And LeBron can do some of the things, most of the things that KD can do, which is score, right? If LeBron wants to go out there and average 30, 35 points, he can. But that's not the kind of player that he is. He makes everybody better. He passes the ball. He plays defense. When LeBron, that's another thing. When LeBron wants to play defense, he
He is
locks
one of
in.
the best defenders in the
He
league. People
locks
forget
in.
that. People forget
And
that.
and when I was talking about the Nets matchup, I forgot all about that. If LeBron wants to lock up against Harden, he can for stretches. I'm not saying he's going to stop Harden. I'm not saying he's going to stop Kyrie, but he's a capable defender. And when you have shot blockers behind you, you get the best LeBron that you've ever seen. So, yeah, LeBron is clearly still the best player in the league. In what, year 18? It's insane.
36 years old. Yep.
Yeah.
But yeah, so last but not least, I again don't want to take up too much of your time. Last question, as I used to like to ask all the guests that appear on the Washington Football weekly live streams. Going back to the Washington Football team, and what are your thoughts on the future of this Washington Football team franchise? Do you think we're definitely headed in the right direction? Do you think just going to put it out there, the Super Bowl potentially in the next couple of years is a legit option? What are your thoughts on the franchise moving forward?
So I've always said last year, which is Ron Rivera's first year, is the year of kind of filling things out, kind of building. Year 2 is also building, getting pieces. I think year 3 is when you start pursuing Super Bowls. I'm not saying that it can't happen this season, but I love the direction of where the team is going. The defense is very young. The defense is in win mode now. You got to maximize this defensive line before Chase and Montez get paid. When Chase and Montez get paid, that's when you're going to see a drop in defense in terms of we just can't pay everybody. But I love the direction of the team. I like where we're going. And once we get our franchise quarterback, hopefully a rookie franchise quarterback, that means that year 4 is go time. But I really think that in year 3 is when you're going to see the biggest jump for this team. They are trending up. They're making all the right moves, making all the right decisions, cleaning up the front office. And I love where we're headed right now. We're getting a lot of great pieces, a lot of young guys that want to be here and want to grow with this team. So what we got to do is we got to maximize these rookie deals that we have and try to attack, have the mentality that you're trying to win the Super Bowl, even if you fall short. If you have a mentality that you're building, you're still building. And every year we're tired of building. It's time to start striking. Okay? And I think that this is going to be the first years that you guys take a
I think you're breaking up.
Be a draft, maybe you trade for a guy like Aaron Rodgers. I'm just saying.
I heard that too.
It's going to be some guys available. Maybe Russell Wilson. I don't know. All I'm saying is whether you're getting a quarterback via draft or you're getting an established guy, that's all we're missing. It's just that that you can trust and count on. But I love where we're going.
Yep. You were breaking up a little bit towards the end of your comments, but I could kind of hear you. Yeah, man, I agree with all your points. I think this team is headed in the right direction. I also had that same mindset, right? Like first year, wasn't expecting too much. Did not expect a playoff berth at all, and was probably right because we were 7-9, right? But second year, thought that we are gonna have a jump, and then third year is when, like you said, chasing Super Bowls and all that. But no, I agree with you. Salary cap situation looking good. Am worried though because usually, the most ideal situation is having that rookie quarterback maybe in year 1 of the Ron Rivera regime, right? And then like moving forward, you had that cheap guy while your team's also like progressing and all that. But obviously we don't have that yet. But I think the team is very much, the future is bright. What more is there to say, right? You got the coaching, you got the receivers, you got all the players really minus the quarterback, right? Which we're still looking for. But I think big things are ahead for the Washington Football team, and I don't want to add too much because I usually talk at the end of every single live stream about my thoughts on the franchise and the future of it. So I'm just gonna leave it at that. BG fan literally was just about to sign off, but appreciate you for joining, bro. As always, go make sure to all of his videos, and also subscribe to his channel, BG Fan All Day. Very good Washington football team YouTuber as well. But I see Caps talk in the chat again. The Capitals. Noah hopefully will have some more special guest appearances, and we'll be able to talk more about the Caps because I know they're looking really good right now. So hopefully we'll have some more content with that as well. And again, sorry for the lack of content on the channel. School has been taking up a lot of my time, and I've been studying for a lot of stuff. So, but Manny, I don't know if I think you're frozen at this point. You'll probably hear this back on the rerun. We'll see, but. Thank you, Manny, so much for joining. For everybody in the chat, thank you for joining as well. And yes, Tone, like I said, we'll find a way. We'll find a way, bro. And I appreciate you your support as well with the channel. But thank you guys so much for joining. Please make sure to like, comment, subscribe to the DMV Sports Zone channel. We try to post fire content on here as much as possible. And our Instagram page, all lowercase DMV Sports Zone, and our Twitter page at DMV Sports Zone. With that being said, it's been your boy Nazi. And Manny, who was frozen at the very end. I think he's off the stream now, but I appreciate him for joining. And thank you guys for joining. And have a great rest of your week and a great weekend. Peace.